I don't think we should record everything we say. I mean,
No.
that.
I think we are in agreement on that.
Yeah.
But especially now, I'm nervous around me now that I'm HR.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. You have to watch what you say in front of yourself.
I do.
That's welcome to my world.
Oh, no. It's funny. I'm just becoming known as the conversation killer.
I mean, really,
The what?
an overall
buzz killer. Well,
Yeah.
I think I've always kind of had that going for me.
So it doesn't feel that different than like, what? I don't know, college. At least you didn't have to deal with the era
My
of
mom
like
likes
getting
me.
like dropped out of like a group chat, because that's what happens to my kids.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah. No, I was well liked.
Right. No, I'm sure you were. Here's what I want you to do one day in the name of HR. I want you to go into the yellow box, go to that quote wall, and just tear it down.
What a massive rampage.
Just a massive, just like, this is inappropriate. Just screaming.
Do you know how much trouble we could be in?
Exactly. They are coming to inventory tomorrow.
Where is that 800 number?
Yeah, that's what we need. So let me know when you do that, because I want to film it.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Let's start, shall we? Hi, everybody.
Which one did you pick?
Oh, I picked this one.
Okay.
Okay. That doesn't reveal anything. Hi, everybody.
The fact that we'll be wearing the same outfit in the other one.
Right, yeah. Hi, everybody. Welcome to this very specific and unique Big Idea podcast. My name is Eric Bramlett, and I'm joined by...
Tammy Melchien.
How you doing today, Tammy?
Pretty good.
Oh, that's great. Well, this is going to be kind of a shortened version of a podcast because we're really only focusing on 1 week's worth of material. And
But it's a big one.
And it's a big one because it's not even a Sunday. It is Christmas Eve. So we are talking about Christmas Eve. It falls within the overall series of Turn the Page as far as the calendar goes. But it's not actually a part of Turn the Page.
Series?
Oh, we're still in Turn the Page. Even when we finish, we'll be turning the pages quite some time. But it's not technically a part of that series.
No, it's kind of a standalone message.
Standalone Christmas Eve, kind of Christmas at community kind of vibe. So we'll just jump right in because it is that day. Now, some of you will have services all day that day. Some of you will have a couple additional services the day before. Either way, however it plays out for you, this is the big idea for that day. And the other thing to mention is that from a service flow standpoint, this is a service that we're looking at being kind of a 45-minute experience as opposed to our hour 5 on regular Sunday mornings. And that's the reasons. There are many. One is it does include the entire family, and so there is a point at which the breaking point of a family and young children happens where they're just not able to sit still for an extended amount of time. So the message, in fact, is even crafted to be...
We're shooting for 15 minutes.
Shooting for 15 as opposed to 25. So just keep that in mind. I mean, we want to do lots of things to make Christmas Eve fantastic. One thing right off the bat I would suggest is a prelude. If you've got some musical opportunities to do preludes, people come early. And it's a great way to have an extended service experience without necessarily, getting past that 45-minute mark.
Yeah. And we imagine lots of music.
Yes,
we
lots of
imagine,
music.
A time in working in partnership with Kid City.
Yes, absolutely. An opportunity for the kids that's entertaining and educational and fun and includes the kids. So we definitely want to have that. But on that note, what are we talking about, Tammy, specifically on this Christmas Eve? Where are we heading?
Well, specifically for this message, and if you want to get a feel for it, you could watch the clip that is here on the map. We saw J.D. Greer do a message last Christmas that while his context is very different than ours, so our message will have to be different words.
Yeah, the style, the vernacular is definitely very different.
But the concept behind the message we just really loved. And we felt like it was a perfect time to do something like this because it has sort of a Old Testament and New Testament bringing them together in this moment. And so right in the middle of this big Turn the Page Bible overview series, it felt like a great year to do this. So to describe this message a little bit for you, What it is it's and I don't know if this is the right term. I would almost say it's a little bit like it's somewhere between normal message and performance piece.
Sure, yeah.
Where it's, it's not going to have its normal, I mean, we haven't brainstormed it yet, but it's likely not going to have its normal, opening story, that kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely feels more like a narrative, like a storytelling moment.
Yeah, and it plays off of the name for God, the name that God gives to Moses, I am. And how J.D. Greer and how we plan to talk about that a little bit is, that's when God revealed his name. And he revealed it in a time where Moses was just full of self-doubt, full of worry, so like feeling his inadequacy. And so when God says, I am, in essence, what he's saying to him is, Moses, I am everything you are not. Like I am, I am this for you. And then as you go through the Old Testament, this phrase that in English we would say Yahweh, or sometimes in some older English translations it's translated Jehovah, or in like an NIV when you see the little small capital letters Lord, that's when it is using this name I am. And as you go through the Old Testament, God continues to reveal himself as that. Like he reveals himself as I am your provider, I am your healer. And so we'll kind of hit some of those things quickly to understand who God is. But then when you turn the page, I can still say that, right?
Yeah, and I actually just did. Yeah.
When you turn the page to the New Testament, really we made the verse here from Matthew the big idea, that she will give birth to a son, you're to give him the name Jesus because he will save his people from their sins. And that name Jesus literally means I am your salvation. And so here Jesus is that I am. And so to recognize, in our lives, when you look back at who God said he was in the Old Testament, that Jesus is saying to I am your healer, I am your deliverer, I am your provider, I am your protector. So I don't know if these are the exact 7 that we'll use, but they were ones that I picked out. And so we'll look at that and, basically making the tie that a lot of us come, with our insecurities, our brokenness, our fears, and everything that we feel we're not. God says, hey, I am. And I think we have the opportunity to do a great kind of riff at the end of there that you'll see on the bottom of this page. You might be feeling, who could be smart enough to figure this out? Jesus says, I am. Who could ever make this? Jesus says, I am. Who could ever restore this? Jesus says, I am.
Yeah. No, that's great. No, it's great, and I think especially with the audience that's coming in to experience this, I think you have kind of one shot at being able to break down a little bit of the defenses or a little bit of the veneer, because I mean it is difficult in the sense that some people, when they show up for Christmas, they're putting on airs in the sense that this isn't something that they do all the time, and so they are bringing in all of these insecurities and all of these things. And just to have that one little opportunity to be able to just kind of poke a little bit at some of those things that they may be feeling or they may be hiding or they may be covering up, and being able to point to Jesus as the great answer. It's good.
There's a couple things I might mention just as we think about brainstorming this. First of all, what could visually be happening during that? Like I said, it's a little bit performance piece. Yeah. So it could be as simple as, the way J.D. Greer did it, it was just PowerPoint of those names, and then you went back over them when you went through the New Testament. But is there something visually that goes with this? I also might say that, normally on Christmas Eve, we like to have a story of someone finding their way back to God, which I think would still be great for us to think about and what type of story we want. I don't know that it necessarily would go in.
Oh, okay, sure.
It might, but I don't know that it would necessarily go in this, but it could be something coming out of this, or
right.
I don't know. We might just think about that as we're crafting the whole service flow.
Gotcha. No, that's great. I think it's going to be a great thing. So in addition to this podcast that you're experiencing right now, definitely take some time and check out the formation of what J.D. Greer put together for his Christmas Eve service, because we'll certainly be drawing on those things.
And I gave you the timestamp there, because the video is the whole, unless you want to watch the whole thing, fast forward to 53 minutes.
Very good, yeah. All right. Well, that's Christmas Eve, y'all. I think it's going to be fantastic. I'm really looking forward to it.
Y'all.
Sure. You know, Doug Letton
right.
gave me grief for saying y'all on Facebook.
I've just never heard you say it before.
I don't know what to say. It's a part of me. It's inside of me.
All right.
You know, my family's from Louisiana originally. Did you know that?
I think I may have known that, but
Huh.
my family's from Germany, and I don't speak German on these podcasts.
Well, maybe you should start.
Auf Wiedersehen.
All right. On that note, for Tammy Melchien, I'm Eric Bramlett. So long, everybody.